Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Oshan Ivantha from Sri Lanka. Actually, I'm the GSOC student who worked with ownCloud this year. And I'll talk a little bit about my experience, just a very small talk. And actually, the title of the project this year is Petabyte Scale Cloud Storage File Manager. It was, I think, originally for CERN and I think you all know what Google Summer of Code is, but just in case if you don't know, it's a project where Google pays selected students all over the world to do an open source project, and I was one of them. So yeah, the goal of the project this year was to provide a new web UI for Sandbox, and as Hugo explained yesterday, Sandbox is a cloud storage synchronization service for Sun users. I think already like 14,000 users use it worldwide already. And so how does Phoenix comes into all this? As you know, Phoenix is the new front end for the ownCloud, and so I was supposed to contribute to Phoenix project and then fork it for the Sandbox project for its separate UI. And I was also supposed to use, and I did use JSON Cloud Client. This was a JavaScript library, promise-based API to connect with ownCloud instances, and it was developed by Naveen for his 2017 GSOC project. And I think it works with both browser and a node environment. So the first major milestone of the GSOC project was to implement the file sharing and file browsing functionalities. So that includes basic browsing, file upload and download, and also perform some test cases and write some documentation, get to know the project, etc., etc. And I recorded just a small GIF file so that you can see the current state. You already saw, but I'll just show it anyway. This is basic file browsing. You can go there, just all the usual stuff, create files, folders, and things like that. That was the first milestone. And I also implemented the breadcrumbs, renaming things. Okay. And there are also features for handling multiple entities at the same time. For some functionalities like file deletion, you can delete multiple files at the same time. Also standard stuff. Oops. Yeah. Anyway, and there's also file moving by dragging them along onto other folders. And I think Wi-Fi signals little off here. Sorry. Yeah, actually this was one of the difficult things that I had to do. The difficult part was implementing that animation kind of thing when you drag one entity onto another. And that's basically the first milestone. And the second milestone is the most important part of the project, that is adapt Phoenix to a progressive web application. And the first part was wrap Phoenix into a shell app according to Google's best practices. Actually, the Google has stated few guidelines, more like ideal rules that developers should follow if they are implementing a shell app, and that is loading fast, using little data, and caching lot of stuff. And we did cache stuff and some dynamic content. So the The idea is to reuse the content as much as possible and reduce the data consumption. Mm, the progressive web application compatibility was tested using the Lighthouse, also a tool you can find in the Google Chrome, and actually we were able to achieve a score of 82%. I think it's pretty okay at this point. So there are some other stuff like cache file metadata from ownCloud into browser cache. So how that works is that assume that you are browsing some files. So the application automatically stores these paths and the metadata in the file web browser cache. And so if the connection suddenly goes offline, you can just revisit the folders and browse the files you have already visited. And it detects when the connection goes offline and automatically refreshes the metadata content when connection comes back up online. And I had to test for some offline metadata scenarios, like there are different cases that can occur. I mean, when you download a file, you can go offline, or like you can visit some files that you haven't previously visited. So what to do in those scenarios and whatnot. And yeah, that basically sums up my experience with GSOC this year. So thank you.